Sometimes the answer is already no. I know we love to hear these stories about persistence paying off, just like I shared in my previous video. Well, this video is the complete opposite of that story that was a success story. This is an example where things did not go well at all. And I want to share this because sometimes we don't hear these stories where things don't work out quite right. So then when we're out there selling, we're in front of a customer, things don't go well, we start internalizing it, thinking it's all us, when sometimes that's just the way things go. Several years ago, I was in business-to-business sales in commercial print. Commercial print is where you're a printer, but it's large format. So it's large businesses like gaming businesses where they need hundreds of thousands or millions of direct mail pieces, those mail promotional marketing pieces you get in the mail, or it could be letterhead. Maybe they need 500,000 letterhead printed that's going to be mailed out to their customer base or prospective customers. So that's the context. And I was calling on a prospect. It was a large company with multiple properties in the gaming space, and I could not get an appointment set for the longest time. Finally, I actually reached the person we need to speak with. We'll say that his name was Greg. I reached Greg, and one of the first telltale signs was there seemed to be zero interest. And he was reluctant, but he did set a time to meet. And I wasn't getting a lot of feedback, but to get that time set, I basically said, well, are you free next week? Yeah, sure, whatever. How about Tuesday? Yeah, that works. Okay, Tuesday at 11 a.m. Sure. And that was the end of the call. So Tuesday rolls around, and I knew this is a big potential client, so I brought another sales rep that was an expert in printing. Actually went to college for that, so knew the ins and outs, knew more than anybody, I think, in our entire facility, and was also in sales, which is a great combination. I bring him to the call, we bring some donuts, and arrive at this appointment. Luckily, he took the appointment. Greg took the appointment. When we walked into his office, what was really odd, he made very little eye contact. And as you know, building rapport, eye contact is key. There was little to no eye contact. It seemed as though the entire time he wasn't looking at us, he was looking down at the ground. And it seemed as though I was reminding him that we had an appointment scheduled and why we were there. So we're all on the same page. We just start asking various questions about the company, about the business, about the various properties. And at some point, the expert that I was with, sales rep, had asked, because it looked like things were going nowhere, really. So he had asked, hey, are there some other departments or at the property level marketing people that we can touch base with? And he had said no. He shut it down. He said, I make all the decisions here. Everything comes through me. And things got quiet for a second, and my brain is just thinking for ideas what to do, what to possibly follow up, because this whole thing, from the time of setting the appointment to arriving there during the call, nothing was going well. So I asked, I said, well, okay, we understand that. Would it be okay if once a week or once every couple of weeks I just check in, see if there's any new projects? Perhaps we can have an opportunity to provide pricing on that, give you a bid. And this is several years ago, so I'm trying to think back if he looked at me or didn't make eye contact. I think he made eye contact and firmly said, sure, but you may be calling on me for the rest of your life. And at that point, we knew it was game over. It was absolutely game over. The answer was already no before we even stepped into that meeting. I think maybe that persistence paid off in getting that meeting, and that was his way of just shutting us down. Now, to his credit, he set the expectations. And maybe that was a test, right? Maybe that was a test to see, okay, let me kick these guys out and see if they have what it takes and will show up again. Now, after that call, I did follow up. During that time I was there, we didn't have any business from that vendor, but you still have to look at it as, since it's such a huge opportunity and there's multiple possible angles, maybe there is somebody. It's highly unlikely one person makes all the decisions for a huge company with multiple properties. So you have to start looking at different ways on approaching that. Maybe there's someone you know that knows somebody that works at the company. Maybe in time that person will retire or move on. A lot of things can change. So it's important to keep that type of business and that type of person on your radar. But also, you don't want to invest all of your time and miss out on other opportunities. So the reason I share this is twofold. One, value your time and apply that effort and time where things are going to pay off. Something difficult like this, keep it on the radar, but don't allow it to take up all of your time. And also, when you hear stories like this, I've read a ton of books on sales and watched a ton of videos, and I've never heard anything like that, where it was a complete shutdown, game over. I personally haven't. I'm sure there are stories like that. And the other reason is so that you understand that, so it sets your expectations. Things don't always work out smooth, like in my previous video on how that worked out great, and was able to acquire a new customer and great friendship and all that kind of thing. So keep that in mind. It's maybe not always you. Sometimes the answer is already no. You never know what the timing is like. They may get upset with that vendor, and if you're there on the right day, things will turn around and things will work smooth. So keep that in mind. Stay positive, stay focused, keep putting in the reps. Have an amazing day, and we'll talk soon. Thanks.